about strength. We train on it. And what breaks most people, it isn't pressure, it's the lack of preparation. And today, we train to stay unbreakable. Yes, yes. Happy Tuesday, everybody. It is great to see everybody and to be here. I've had an opportunity to have some just amazing dialogue and conversations about the top 10 things that actually break people down. It's just been amazing on how we respond to different things, different pressures, and I think the conversation really came up about why do things keep repeating themselves when it comes down to pressure or not being as successful or elevating to the next level like a person would like to. And so we identified conversations with people who have had the same issues, different people in the coaching arena, different consultants, just did some research and checked some things out. So I'm going to break down 10 top reasons that people get broken by things. And number 10, we're going to work our way backwards. Number 10 is the comfort zone, mistaken stability for growth. A lot of people will stay in their comfort zone just to keep from making mistakes. And they think that's being stable by doing the same thing all the time. But really, it's a lack of growth. And it's really a fear of what they don't know how to do. Or some people know how to do it, but they're more comfortable with making the same mistakes than they are with learning new solutions. And so that's number 10. Number 9 is no recovery plan. Uh, a lot of people, they will work hard, they will stay busy, but they never really rest in a way that's smart. And so you can stay up all night working on things. You can go to work, come home and work on things, but you're not really resting and doing the mental work or even the physical work so that you can focus on the right things, not eating or drinking too much caffeine, um, eating the wrong foods, taking in too much sweets, and that has a way of breaking your body down and creating a mental fog so that you don't make the right and proper decisions. And so that was number 9. And number 8 is negative self-talk. And I listen to a lot of people and I can tell exactly where they are in their journey. Negative talk is one thing. I not only do I guard against, but I tend to, even in my household, my wife and I, we don't let any negative talk come in. And if we do, we say cancel, cancel, and then we continue to flow with something that's more positive. Negative self-talk really rehearses weaknesses instead of really focusing on resilience. And so you got to watch your negative self-talk. Things like, well, that's how they are. They always trying to keep us down. Just well, men always do this. Women always do that. See, all of that's negative self-talk, and that really doesn't attract or create new solutions. And so if you still are getting the same thing when it comes down to them subjects, that's probably because you're rehearsing weaknesses instead of focusing on how to become resilient. And number 7 is it is a fear of failure. Always want to play it safe instead of training thorough in the discomfort. And so you would rather do uh, craziness like bring a third person into your marriage, or guy on guy, or girl on girl, or keep your company at the same place because you don't want to hire the people who will push you outside your comfort zone to make more money, or I'm not going to add any more people in or effectively partner because I really don't know how to do that. So I will just stay by myself and stay small. And that is really just a fear of failure. And it's really because you haven't trained or don't know how to partner with or identify someone who's trained at the next level, who can push you through, who can take your hand and walk you through to get to the next level. So that's number 7. Number 6 is it is a unresolved pain carrying old wounds into new opportunities. If you find yourself going from relationship to relationship and experiencing the same thing, it is because, and it's that easy, you trying to play it safe because this is what you're comfortable with, versus I'm going to learn a new way to communicate. I'm going to learn how to recognize people I can work with and realize that I do have to work. Everybody wants to take an easy way out in relationships. They want to take the easy way out in developing the growth in their company. They want to take the easy way out when it comes down to success. And there is no easy way. It's a focused way, and you do have to work at it. And so you just have to pick which side you want to work on and then get to work. Number 5 is the lack of discipline. And that's really being driven by feelings instead of focus. And I can't tell you how many times I've seen people talk, respond, act, or make decisions based on the way they feel versus working on what they've actually focused on, or focusing on what they need to work on, but they more or less will respond to how they feel. And really, that's just a lack of discipline, and it doesn't help you. And the other one is emotional burnout. That's giving more than you actually replenish yourself. It is easy to burn out and not take care of yourself. They calling it what did they call it? We was having a conversation. They called it self-care. Love yourself first. You know what? That's a daily routine that you need to do and not make a big thing about it, but that needs to become a part of the discipline. And that is taking care of yourself on a daily basis, taking care of your emotional self daily basis, taking care of your mental self on a daily basis, taking care of your spiritual self on a daily basis, taking care of your soul on a daily basis. That is a part of a discipline. And that is really how you avoid emotional burnout. Number 3, isolation. Trying to do it all alone by yourself with no support system. I can't tell you how many times I've seen people wanting to grow, but just don't know how to operate in a team environment. And I don't know if it's, well, partially because of what they actually have been around. So if I'm a coach and I yell and scream, I yell and scream because I see other coaches that yell and scream. But that's not necessarily how you get the right results. Just because this coach yelled and screamed doesn't mean that you should yell and scream in order to be effective. You need to figure out what sort of gifts and talents you have, bring to the table, and figure out exactly how to use that and not emulate someone who hasn't won some top honors, who hasn't won Super Bowls, who hasn't won Rose Bowls, who hasn't won state championships, and emulate those people versus those that are just in the game and are having fun. And so stop trying to isolate yourself when it takes a team to build an empire. And number two is comparison, measuring progress by someone else's timeline. You can't measure, well, you can, but it really doesn't help you when you begin to start measuring your progress based on what you see other people doing. Your journey is your journey, and you have to walk your journey at your pace or at the pace God wants you to walk it at, and focus on the things you need to do in order to develop to be successful. And that's your timeline. We get into trouble when we start comparing what this person is doing over here, what this person is doing over there. No. I had somebody make a comment to me and say, well, Kevin, I wouldn't want to wait 5 years in order to make this happen. But what they failed to realize was, in 5 years, a bamboo tree grows taller than any other tree, where other trees may have grown in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. And in 5 years, the bamboo tree hasn't broke ground. But by year 6, not only has it broke ground, but it has grown the tallest and is the most durablest and solid tree around. But it just takes the longer time to grow. So stop comparing your progress with other people's timelines. And then the number one reason why people get broke down is unrealistic expectation, expecting instant results without a long-term effort. Relationships require effort. Having employees requires effort in training them and identifying who those are. Running a company takes effort, and it takes a discipline to bring the right partners on, partnering with the right people and working at it. It's not something that you cannot invest in and expect great results. And so unrealistic expectations is what really breaks us down, and having those things, that's the number one reason and the number one thing we need to address. And so I have 3 coaching points that's going to help us with that today. These conversations I've been having over the last couple of weeks, and just watching and looking at the internet and seeing what people are saying and what they're complaining about, and just my friends and talking to other coaches and other consultants. These are the top reasons and the top things that break people down. And here at Unbreakable, we want to train and give you tools, tips, and techniques that's going to help you become unbreakable so that you don't have to remain broken. And the number one coaching point is train what you want to trust. You can't rely on what you haven't rehearsed. If you continuously are getting into relationships and they're failing, what practices have you had? What dating practices are you doing? Are you doing the same old thing? Are you doing the same old things you see on television? Are you doing what you hear in music? What practices are you actually rehearsing on? Champions, they don't necessarily rise to the moment. They fall to the level of where they have trained at. And so you have to ask yourself, if you keep having bad relationships, what have you actually trained on? Do you know how to even recognize a good relationship? Do you know how to recognize what a good partnership is? Someone has a skill set that you don't have, but because they don't operate like you do, now you upset, when that's really the thing you need to balance you out, so that together you guys can be able to come together and conquer more and establish more. Sometimes it's easier just to not do that, stay in your same comfort zone. And remember, that was number 10, nothing grows in the comfort zone. So if you're okay with not growing, then you should be happy and not complain. And so focus on your habits, and make sure that the habits that you're practicing deals with pressure. So if you're getting into arguments and you want to know how to communicate better or eliminate problems, understand what the root of those are. Maybe it's you, especially if you keep getting into them over here, over there, in this relationship, in this work, the with this employee. Maybe it's you and it's not the people or the environment that's around you. Let me see here. I got a question that just popped in here. Trying to focus and navigate on both of these things. Let's see. Okay, that's a good question. That's a good question. Okay, I'm gonna answer that question. Thank you very much, by the way. Coaching point number 2: build endurance, not excuses. You want to be able to. The endurance is what separates people from those who finish and those who fade. I can't tell you how many people have projects, great ideals, things that could really help, things that will bring in more income. But what tends to happen is they will start on it and then burn out before they even get going. As soon as they experience a little challenge, they back off of it and they think that maybe they're not walking in their purpose or that they're not pushing forward. But really what it is they are making excuses versus working on building their endurance. And part of how you build your endurance is you have to do a little bit every day. Even if it's you can't do it the hour that you want to be able to do 10 minutes. If you do 10 minutes on something every day, imagine 100 days from now, or if you improve 1% every day and 100 days from now, you'll be 100% better. And so it's not about putting in an hour or doing a half an hour. If you can do that, great, but start with 10 minutes, start with 5 minutes on something. And stop making excuses because excuses don't make you. And number 3 coaching point is you have to be able to reflect, refocus, and reload. If you watch any sports from baseball to basketball to football to golf to equestrian, any type of athletic event, tennis, they always reflect on the actions that they've done. Then they refocus on the adjustments that they need to make, and then they reload and come out the gate. A lot of times we will make these mistakes and we quit. We quit when we fire somebody and don't want to make adjustments. We quit when we schedule meetings and we say we're going to put together these meetings to grow, and then you come to the first meeting or you come to the second meeting and then they just fall off and then they gone by the wayside. You're not reloading at that point in time. What you've done is you've backed off, and you're not building anything that's going to last longer. You'll continue to trade dollar for hour. You'll continue to have bad relationships and not know how to attract right ones. And just small adjustments compounded is going to have a major, lasting, massive progress and an effect. And so you have to really be able to train your mind in order to be able to see every failure not as a setback, but as an opportunity, as a launch board to move forward. Reflection really turns into repetition, and repetition turns into mastery. And so I kind of want to close on this statement here. Understanding, well, let me answer this question first. Somebody, they blowing me up, and they've asked, I always talk about being unbreakable. What have I recovered from? So as a coach, one of the things that I recovered from was I had a career-ending injury in college. And when I had this career-ending injury in college, I actually walked away from my scholarship, and I had 2 semesters left in order to graduate with a psychology degree. I didn't want that psychology degree. I didn't want to even be in that environment anymore. It wasn't healthy. And so what I knew how to do was work hard. So I went out, and it was within 6 months. I got my first job out of college, which I actually ended up working there 21 years, 13 left, came back and worked for an additional 8 years. So that was about being able to identify, readjust, reflect, and make an adjustment based on how I was wired. Not based off of the college accolades, not based off of the college scholarship, not based off of that particular success, but it was based off of a skill set of being able to know that I could work hard at something. And I made that adjustment and I made it work. And so that was one of the setbacks I had earlier in my life. And I was able to refocus, readjust, and reload and come out firing. And today, I just can't tell you that that was a really part of an amazing ride. I enjoyed myself while I was at MSU. Go Green. Uh, it was also a growing up lesson. And so I appreciated that time. And I want to be able to close on this. If you want to stop breaking under pressure, you got to train on what you trust. And so I'm launching a personal awareness and success training course program that will be coming out in 2 weeks. I'm going to put information in the chat. Follow me, like, ask questions. I appreciate that. And remember, just because you get knocked down or broken doesn't mean you have to stay broke. Become unbreakable, fight, train, stand up, get support, effectively partner so that you can win. Setbacks really doesn't mean that you've failed. It means that you're readjusting for a victory. That's my time, y'all. Take care and remember,